We're good. Are we live?
We're live.
Hi, this is Justin from Video Creators Lounge. I am here today. Very happy to be speaking with Jen Ruiz and Jamal Fairbanks, who will be performing live at the undisclosed secret Video Creators Lounge temporary location that we're using, and very secret to keep the paparazzi away. And I just wanted to take a moment right now to talk with our artists that will be playing music 45 minutes or so after the conclusion of this interview. And I'm very happy to be joined by you, Jen, here, actor, model, singer, musician, business owner, swimsuit designer, maybe? I don't know if that's common knowledge just yet. But
dancer as well.
Thank you for being here. And Jamal Fairbanks here, who is a talented musician, master's in business, teaches school and children. We're going to hear all about it.
Yeah.
Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
So you're both going to be performing later. I'm thrilled. We're happy. We're kind of doing this because we know a lot of musicians right now do not have the opportunity to gig. So, this is the next best thing, hopefully. And tell me, what's your favorite type of music that you like? What do you enjoy? What is it about music that you love?
Favorite type of music? Wow. I love all music, honestly. But I prefer to sing maybe like an R&B or dance hall kind of reggaeton. But I grew up listening to salsa, so that's in my roots. Anything that is really tropical and festive. But I also have my sad moments where I listen to like romantic music. So I am very, like my tastes are very broad. And what was your other question?
Well, I mean, we're here in New England for those of us who may be tuning in and not sure. We're just north of Boston. And I got to know you from photography, from modeling.
Yes.
And I know that you're acting. And it was just recently did I even know that you were a singer and a musician. Do a lot of people know that about you?
Well, I will say like my closest friends, they do know, but no, like not everyone know that I'm into like music, which is funny because I've been like writing songs since I was like, I don't know, maybe 7th grade, but it's just like a talent that I've just like, I guess like kind of kept to myself.
That's shocking. I don't know why.
Because I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm still asking myself that question, like why? And I guess because I was more focused on being like a better actress or being a better dancer. So my energy was focused towards those arts. That singing was kind of like, yes, I like it and I enjoy doing it and I love it. But it's just like I felt like it wasn't like my strongest,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just decided to just like let it there. And it's like, yeah, I like doing it, but I don't see myself as someone who can compose and someone who can actually sing and perform. I'm here today.
That's going to change after tonight's performance, I think. I accidentally kind of heard you sing within the last few weeks here. And my head turned around. I said, whoa, who's that singing? And it was you. And so do other people have that reaction? Have you ever kind of just sung randomly and then be like, oh, geez, I didn't know Jen sung. Oh my God. Why aren't you singing all the time?
No and yes. Maybe like, I feel like maybe when I make new friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I sing, they're like, oh, you can sing? I'm like, oh, well, thank you if you think that I can sing. Because like, again, I don't see myself as a singer. So, I mean, I didn't see myself as a singer. So every time that someone will like commend something in my singing, I will like be very shy about it. I'm like, oh, thank you. You think like it's nice for you to think that I can sing.
Does it help?
So,
Does it help?
Does it help what?
That someone else says that you can sing?
I feel like before it did. Now I feel like I'm pretty more confident about it.
Okay.
But yeah, before if someone commented on it, I will like, I will like be like, oh, well, maybe I can sing. Yeah.
You can sing.
Thank you. Well, I hope so, right?
Beautiful. I'm so thrilled that this could be an opportunity for you to sing. I feel like, you know, down the road, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, I know Jen. She was in the Video Creators Lounge, and she sang, you know, when no one knew her, you know, when less people knew her. So.
What I will say about Jen singing, when I first met her, a mutual friend of ours was having a dinner party, just a few people, maybe 8 or 9 people, and there was a guitar in the corner collecting dust, missing 4 strings. 2 of them was out of 2 of those strings were out of tune. There was like a crack in the guitar, and she's like, "Hey, like you play guitar, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Well, there's a guitar there. Like, do you like to improvise? Like, we could jam." And, you know, I'm like, "Oh, well, let me see the guitar." And there's this dusty 2 strings on the guitar. And so we jammed with just 2 strings. And that's when I got to hear her sing. So my first introduction to Jen was actually her singing while I played a broken guitar.
True.
So that's all right.
Yeah.
You know, that's always the best situation.
That's the best situation, absolutely. Yeah.
So this is almost like an exclusive performance later on that we're gonna hear from you. This is I feel like we're breaking. This is like breaking news.
Yeah.
Right? I've seen you have a lot of photography that I've seen online, modeling.
Yeah.
Beautiful modeling that I've seen online, but I haven't, and you're acting as well.
Yeah.
By the way, very funny skits, and we're gonna have links below to Instagram and all the social media craziness. There's so many to list, I can't even do it all. But
thank you for having me. And just a little bit, the songs that I'm gonna be performing are mine. Like I composed them; they're not from other artists. So, yes, just wanted to throw that out there.
Where can I ask you the names of the songs that we're gonna be hearing?
Yes. So I'm gonna be performing a Spanish one.
Mm-hmm.
Originally is a reggaeton. We try to create an more acoustic version of it. Mm-hmm. It's called Ponte Pa' Mi.
Okay.
And then the other one is called Dreams of Us. And it's in English. And
when did you write each one of them?
Both of them. I wrote them during this quarantine.
Oh, no kidding. So recently.
Yeah, very, very recent. Very recent. Yeah.
Oh, wow. See, yeah, that would take...
So, like, the English one, I think it was, like, I was in Puerto Rico for 2 months. And I was just, like, in my room, just, like, listening to beats. And I started improvising, and I improvised the song. And it came out really cool. I actually sent it to Jamal, and I was like, look what I just, like, created. And funny story, it was, like, I stopped singing because in the background you can see like a neighbor screaming and fighting. I'm like, oh, okay, let me stop. Let me stop my improv section. But that's how I created one of the songs. Yeah.
That's great. Now, so let me ask you this: do you think you would have created this song if it weren't for COVID?
That's interesting.
For some people, it provides a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
COVID's obviously devastating. It's brought a lot of like terrible things to the world.
Yeah.
But there's some kind of unintended things that come out of it. And for some people, it's been an opportunity to be in a little bit, good or bad.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's good to be a little bit in solitude and to work on some creative outlets.
Yeah.
And so. It's interesting to think because I feel like, and it might not be in this case, but like I feel like a lot of people, it might have provided them an opportunity to be a little bit introspective and work on things that might be creative, which might be one good thing. I mean, I hesitate to say anything good comes out of this tragedy, but I think it does provide opportunities in some cases. Is that necessarily the case for you here?
Definitely. So like, I would say like, this quarantine definitely gave me the space to be more creative, to write more, also to like, I wasn't doing much acting. So it gave me like the space to like get together with my friends and just come up with skits and record and do like fun things. So I will say that definitely I was more creative during this quarantine, even though I wasn't as active with project, but personal project, yes. And I feel like I've created a lot of songs during this quarantine.
So there's more.
I have a lot.
So
it was really hard for me to choose.
You're not giving us everything that you have today. You're only giving us 2 songs. All right. So will you come back at some point? Will we have to bring you back to perform the other songs that we're not hearing tonight?
That would be awesome. Okay. Yeah, I will be open to that.
We can make that happen here. Anything's possible at Video Creators Lounge.
Awesome. Ooh, okay, I like that.
All right, so let me ask you, this gentleman to the right of you. Let's talk about him for a little bit.
Yes, of course.
How do we know him? How do we know him? How did you guys get to first start working together?
Jamal, he tapped in a little bit about how we knew each other.
By the way, we're talking about you.
I'm enjoying this thoroughly.
Okay, for sure. Right. Just pretend you're not here for just a moment. And then we'll because I want to ask you some questions.
Jamal, he mentioned how we got to we got to know each other. It was like through a friend, through a small gathering, and that same day we kind of like sang, and it was really cool. It was like a really nice space, like really, I feel like indie and I don't know, like really intimate, and it was really nice. And we connected through that, right? And this is our first time performing, so
it seems like you guys have known each other for years.
Yeah, I know. We do have that.
No,
we do have that vibe.
Yeah.
But let me just mention that, do you believe it's different when you meet someone, because you both met from a very creative space? Is that different than meeting someone maybe for the first time in a different point of view, like in a different setting? It's kind of a different type of connection, is it not?
Yeah. I think as like creatives, like you allow yourself to be open to any kind of like spontaneous, random, like creative thing to happen. So Jen and I met at a dinner party. There was no kind of creative anything going on, right? We just happened.
But there's something when you see another creative person. There's something. There's something there, right? It's different than meeting, a potential future business colleague or something like that, right?
Yeah. Because
it's I would definitely say so.
Definitely, because I think organic is the word that comes to mind, right? And I think when you randomly cross paths with someone, and your first introduction to that person is creative, like Jen and I probably like shared, like, I don't know, like we talked, oh, where are you from? Where am I from? We like talked about that. And then it got creative because of the scenario. There's a guitar there, right? It was very spontaneous, and it just kind of happened, and it was very organic. And that is, way different than being like, oh, like I saw your ad on Craigslist. You seem like you fit the part. Do you want to like get together? It's
always so. That's first. I love that, and I'm thrilled that both of you met each other, because both of you individually are unbelievably creative. And as I started to get to know you, Jamal, I'm kind of blown away. I, jokingly characterized you as an underachiever, but it's a joke because you're absolutely the complete opposite of that. And, you have an undergraduate degree in music and a master's as well. And you're teaching now, but tell me a little bit about the background, where you started, and what you're doing now, and what you'd like to do in the future. Your hopes, dreams, aspirations, and just tell us. You know what? Why don't you just start? What day were you born? And where were you born?
Right. So it all started. My mom and dad met. No. So I'm from the Bronx, New York. And just because you asked about my birthday is January 1st. So probably wouldn't have mentioned it if it wasn't like a cool birthday.
I dig that.
Yeah. And so I'm from the Bronx, New York, and it's the birthplace of hip hop. So I grew up a lot. I grew up around that culture, right? Like I grew up around a hip hop culture, and then.
What about Brooklyn? No. No. The Bronx is the birthplace. Of hip hop, right?
Absolutely.
Because all the house parties, right?
Yeah. So
the house parties started in the Bronx.
So Sedgwick Ave, and
right.
I'm from the South Bronx, and I actually only live maybe like a 5-minute drive from the park where the first party was thrown by DJ Kool Herc, right? And yeah,
that's
so this
historic.
Right.
Well,
so I'm not
it's because they usually talk about the true American art form as jazz, but they always seem to leave out hip hop.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they don't. They're starting not to, but for the longest time, it was jazz is the only truly American art form. But we can now, and they're starting to realize, by the way, we ought to recognize hip hop as a truly American art form as well.
Right. Well, when we think of hip hop as culture, right, as not just music, but as art and fashion and music and dance, right, like breakdancing and graffiti and fashion, right, like this is all hip hop culture, right?
Yeah.
And when you think of it that way, this culture has been influential all over the world, right? Like,
absolutely.
So it should be recognized for sure, and
it is by the people that know better.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and even by the people that don't, they may not know the roots and the origin, but they feel the vibe. You know what I mean? And so so much so that you have like, you know, kinds of hip hop like all over the world. Like I was in Barcelona last year, and just to see like the graffiti there, and talking to like some of the graffiti artists, and they're just like, oh well, you know, this is New York that we're like inspired by. This is in Spain, you know, and like they're saying that they're inspired by what was going on in the Bronx, and so the Bronx is the most influential place in the world. Boom.
Yeah.
It,
all right.
I'm with you. Yeah. But like in addition to being around that, I like picked up guitar. My older brother like played guitar. He was a popular guy with the ladies and had lots of friends. And I was like, that's cool. I want to be just like that. And so I picked up guitar maybe like around like 8th grade. And he stopped playing and I kept going. And
he's an insurance salesman, right?
Yeah. He's like
he sells insurance.
He's a manager at
what's his first name?
Like Andreas.
We gotta send Andreas a little.
Oh yeah.
I'm just joking. We love you.
No, shout out to Andreas.
Would it be right to say if Andreas didn't influence you might be in a different place right now?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Because
so there you go.
Yeah, because my love for guitar came from me just wanting to emulate my brother, right? Yeah. But then I like found this world of my own, you know, and so being from the birthplace of hip hop, and then picking up guitar, and then learning about like rock music, more specifically at the time when I was 13, like Linkin Park, right? Because they were a fusion of like rap and rock, and so for a kid in the Bronx like who hears rap all the time, heard this band that does this fusion of rock and rap, I'm like, wow, like guitar, this is distortion, like electric guitars and like rough vocals combined with this flow rap. I was like, wow, like that's really interesting. And then I got more into the world of rock, and then I ended up playing in like metal bands in high school. And complete like
no kidding, because right now, right, you're an unbelievable guitar player. We're gonna hear a little bit of it later, right? But you're focus for a bunch of years, and you also play the piano, you play the bass, you play, I mean the recorder when you teach, right? To give like a streamline. I would love, let's get the laundry list.
Yeah. Well, just to streamline it, like when I like picked up guitar, I was like into different bands, you know, like Incubus and like a lot of like alternative bands, and then started like joining bands myself, and then got into like metal and the post-hardcore and the emo and screamo, the kids, you know, call it. But then I got into college, became a music major, and the way that we deal with music on the college level, it's all like you study the Bach and Beethoven and Mozart. So I was forced to do that. Learned to appreciate classical music, and then that was around the same time I picked up piano. So this was second year in college. So like I picked up piano maybe when I was like 19, And that's really important because the thing that I hear the most is like, oh, I wish that I, played an instrument way later in life, and but I'm old now, so I can't do it. And people think that I played, when I was in 4th grade. It's like, no, I'm piano, which is my main instrument. I'll be playing guitar and some keys later, but piano is like my main thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, became a music major, forced to listen to classical music, and I actually started to like it. Especially like as a piano, as a
were you angry when you were like, oh damn it, I like this classical music? Yeah. Like was this part of you like, oh, I don't want to like
absolutely.
it, but I like it.
Every 10,000 pieces of classical music I heard, I would like one. But this was the same time that I was learning that I was diving into piano, and these guys that lived 300, 400 years ago were the meanest piano players, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was the context for me. That was the bridge building for me, where it's like, wow, these old guys from 300, 400 years ago, really great at piano. I'm really passionate about this instrument right now. Let me listen some more. And then that's when it started to click a lot more. So now every 1,000 pieces, I was like, oh, there's one that I like. Now there was like every 100 pieces, every 10 pieces. So now I'm like, oh, now the context of classical music and understanding it and being able to listen to it through a different lens.
You wrote in an orchestra piece.
Yeah. So then, through being a music major, I got opportunities to score film, and then I got into like tutoring and teaching music. Then I moved to Boston to be a music teacher.
Everything became better.
Yeah, right.
Once you moved to Boston, right?
When I moved to Boston, I went to BU.
We're not biased.
Right, of course not. Don't tell
biased. I'm just saying. Saying your life took a positive change. When
you
came here, right?
Man, I fell into that trap. Actually, I actually fell into that trap. My New York friends know. I always have love for the city. I do love Boston, but going to BU is a huge school, the largest school that I've ever been to. Mm-hmm. They have a huge orchestra. And so I had the opportunity to write music for their orchestra. And so I wrote a piece for 50 musicians and a conductor. And in this piece of music, there was piano included in it. And so I played the piano part. So I got to be on stage with like 50 musicians, you know, full orchestra conductor, and I got to play my own composition.
Yeah, so this is the exact reason why I call you an underachiever.
Yeah.
you have no aspirations.
You have
no passion. You know,
it's been a crazy journey for sure. Now I'm getting into like more electronic music and more of like that whole world, and so I'm just happy to.
I think you're probably on the cusp of creating a new genre of music between all your orchestra, electronic.
Yeah, you know. Right. Well, that's the dream is to like have like these have an orchestra play my music while having these electronic elements behind it, and have this crazy fusion. I have not fully fleshed out this idea yet, and to like have an orchestra to play my music, like I can't just go to the corner store and get an orchestra, right? Like, all right. So
and you also said you have a passion for increasing your already audio engineering skills. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, diving deeper into electronic music and the software around.
You know what? The best way to do that is to work for free.
Yeah. Right. Interning. Right. Now, the teaching.
No, but we would love to have your expertise here. Because, and we would hope to see you back as well. We're looking forward to hearing your music and with Jen, and it's just such a great pairing, and I love how the both of you met. And I do believe that when people meet for the first time from a creative space, it's kind of different. It's a different type of connection
for sure.
And I would assume that when you are at your creative peak, you're probably more inclined to meet people in general.
Oh yeah.
You find that as well, Jen? Yeah. No, absolutely. So, Jen, is there anything you'd like to highlight coming up? I mean, there's a lot of things.
It
might be too general.
Yeah.
And I know we'll have all your links, but is there any one link or anything that you
I don't have links yet, but
you do. You have Instagram.
Yeah. But for the things that I'm about to say, upcoming projects, yes. I think I'm about, in a few months, I think I'm about to release my first song, produced song. So that's cool.
Nice.
Coming up in a few months, let's say. And
who's your producer going to be? Someone
I'm working in
undisclosed right
Puerto
now,
Rico,
but
yeah.
that's okay.
I'm working with some people in Puerto Rico. And yes, my bathing suit line is also about to launch. So
it's about to launch.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were ready to talk about that yet. And I know
it's about to in a few months.
All right, so stay tuned.
Pretty soon as well. They're still like in the making because COVID and all this. But pretty soon, and I'm really, 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 really excited. Yes.
Well, listen, we'll be happy to talk about it when the time is right for that, and it is exciting. And
pretty soon, I hope.
It's not surprising that someone as talented as you is kind of traversing. And it makes perfect sense because it is just like you talked about hip hop earlier, about how it's not just it is the music, of course, right? But it's also the vibe, it's also the graffiti, it's also about the place, and it's interesting because that's kind of what I see Jen doing as well, and very organically, right? Yeah. Not mimicking anything, but it's just you can tell when talking to Jen, it's coming from a place of passion.
Oh yeah,
it's organic. Sure. And it makes, as I hear it, it makes perfect sense. And Jamal, what do people need to know? We're going to have your links. I know there's some things that you're working on that are not ready to discuss just yet. But anything you want to talk about now?
There's no, I'm just in the process of cultivating my own skills. So there's nothing in particular that I want to shout out, that I want to like highlight, but just like just words of love that music and art, when the world stopped through COVID, it was the arts that we all like fell back on. And so I just want to give a shout out to creatives who had their whole livelihoods uprooted because the performance spaces closed down. So just words of love to
nice. That. And by the way, that's exactly why we're here right now.
Yeah.
And for anybody else kind of missing gigging, looking for a venue, we have COVID protocols in place now. We've been pretty diligent about that. So in the event that you're missing gigging and you're looking for a place to play music, I would like to say that we're doing this just to provide music to the masses, but in reality, I'm pretty selfish. And I love music and I love film and creativity, and this is kind of my excuse to bring all of you talented people closer to me.
Yeah.
But I won't tell anybody else that from everyone else's perspective. I'm doing this for all of you, the audience. But listen, I'm thrilled you're here.
Well, thank you for having
45 minutes. Definitely. We're gonna hear a live performance. Tune in, bookmark it, put an alarm on your phone, do whatever you gotta do. And we'll see you in about 45 minutes to hear the vocal stylings of Jen and Jamal. And tune in. You won't want to miss it. Signing off, Video Creators Lounge. Have a good night.
Peace.